All right, this should fit now with all the cuts I made. Yep, perfect. Templates. Today, we're talking about templates. What I'm doing now, I'm creating a template that I can transfer this shape to a big sheet of plywood. 1/2-inch pre-finished maple is what I'm putting on these side walls under the garage. 1/2-inch pre-finished maple. Now I gotta get that shape. See this? I gotta end it where I want it. It's gotta go underneath my bed rail and it's gotta hug that shape of that wheel well. How the hell are we gonna do that? The first step is to get the full length and the height, the overall. Now, this is going to be going up against, it's gonna travel all the way to my bulkhead. I call it a bulkhead, okay? That's basically where the garage ends and the living quarters start. You put a wall in, I call it a bulkhead. My bulkhead in this particular van, being 54 inches off that corner there, I'm gonna run this piece of wall into my bulkhead, which is about 1/8 of the way up the wheel well, and it'll go all the way across. So that's a bulkhead. So that's how I get my length. It's 54 inches. That's what our mattress will be, 54 inches. How do we get the height? The height is determined by my chair rail, bed rail. In this case, I'm putting a bed support rail up on the side of the van on each side using the existing holes in the van. That sets right there. So I know I need my piece of wood here, my wall, has to fit underneath that, okay? So that's another consideration. So you have to find out where that lands and you measure from there. And before you make any measurements, you better check to see that you are square off the floor with that ender right there, okay? This is the ProMaster. In the Sprinter, it is not square. The Sprinter bows out. In a Sprinter van, the rear wall is not perpendicular to your floor. See, I'm touching the corner back here, down here, but I'm already off almost 1/2 inch. So you get this thing in here, and you're always now working off your floor. Once you get your floor in, whether it's been glued or it's sitting there, you strike your center lines, you work off the floor, you square off the floor. You cannot level anything when you're building a van because the van is invariably not level when you're building it. So in this van, I'm square. So we know we're 54 this way, and then this way we're gonna be 28 3/8. We know what our overall measurement's gonna be. Here is my, here's a sheet of cardboard I'm gonna work with, and I'm picking a nice clean corner to start with. Here's my nice pre-finished maple, 1/2 inch, beautiful. Got that from the lumber yard today. Now, one thing I always emphasize when you're cutting cardboard or when you're using a utility knife, a straight edge, anything like that, there's 2 rules. The first one, the most important rule, is to wear a glove on your ruler hand, okay? Not the cutting hand, not the hand that holds the blade, but the ruler hand. If you're cutting along that edge and you happen to slip off, which can happen, that glove is going to offer you that last line of defense before you slice your hand open. The other rule when you're cutting anything is this is our good piece. This is the 54 by 28. This is the waste. Always cut so that your ruler is on the good side. Okay, so if you were to slip off with the blade away from the straight edge, that's not your good piece. That's the waste. The other thing you do is you don't have to go all the way through. Heavy on the ruler, light on the blade. 1 or 2 light passes is all you need. Now I'm going to flip this over to complete the cut, because otherwise, if you weren't on camera with me here, I'd climb on top of the table. Do it that way, but I want you to think I'm a gentleman. So I'm not climbing on top of the table. All right, so like I said, you just make a light score, right? You don't go crazy. You don't have to cut through. You're not sawing firewood here. You bring it out to a straight edge, and it finds its own break. Okay, it's like cutting sheetrock. Now you've scored and you've found your break. You open your knife again. And what you want to do is keep this piece as low as possible, as folded up as possible. And then from the back side, you can make a very accurate, clean cut to get the rest of this sheet off. And if you look under there, 54. Now we're going, where's my marks? Here they are, 28. I think I'm going to be up on the table for this one. When you make your measurements, it's good practice to put a little X by each one of those measurements, and that way you know what your good side is and what your bad side is. Heavy on the ruler, light on the blade. You're not cutting all the way through. Heavy on the ruler, light on the blade. Okay? 3 easy swipes. You're not cutting all the way through, you're just scoring. And then you can bring this out to the edge, line up your cut on the edge of the table. It just drops on its own, just like sheetrock. Same thing. So now you don't want to cut like this. You want this side to be as close to this position as possible, that you can still get your knife in there. But that's how you're going to make a nice accurate cut. And then you finish the cut. Okay? Now, this is our overall wall piece, okay? Now we gotta cut that fender well, that wheel well, we gotta cut that wheel well out of here. So here's how we do that. We gotta go take a few more measurements. Here's what I need to mention. I am ending or starting my wall on this seam that is occurring right inside the rear corner of the van and this bump out. You remember I said let the van talk to you and you gotta learn to listen? Well, that's what I'm doing here. If you were to build this wall, what are you gonna do? You're gonna run it all the way into this corner? Then what? How are you gonna transition and end the rest of these wall panels at the back of the van? You've gotta look, take a look at this seam. Follow the seams, look at the bump outs. Okay, it's going to help you in the long run, because now if I'm ending my wall on this particular seam, I'm leaving myself room for a 3/4 inch partition or end termination furniture, whatever you want to call it. But I'm not running all the way in and then I got to deal with this. I'm putting my rear bulkhead right here, which means I'm starting my wall right here and taking it to the bulkhead. Okay, that's how I got my 54. Now we've got our 54 and we've got our 28 3/8. The next measurement we have to find, which is an easy one, start on the seam that I've determined, and it's square to the floor, perpendicular to the floor. You measure from there. I am 23.5. So I'm going to go outside and measure 23.5 off this corner, okay? Then we need to know the rest of this wheel well. How high is this wheel well? We know it's 23.5 from the corner, but now we need to know how high is it. So you'd use a square or a good solid straight edge. Can you see me now? So you put this at the high point of the wheel well, okay? And, you know, don't be like, find that level spot. You're gonna know when this thing is sitting squarely on top of the wheel well. And then you measure up from the floor, okay? Need my glasses. These rulers, they make them smaller and smaller every year. We're 15 5/8. Okay, now we know how far we are from this corner, and we know how high we have to make the wheel well. Come on, let's go make the cut. 23 3/4, 15 5/8. 23 3/4, 15 5/8. For those of us who partied too hard in college in the early 70s to mid 70s, now we have to repeat ourselves constantly coming out of the room so we remember what the hell we're supposed to be doing. Okay. We have our overall length and height, and we know where the wheel well starts, and we know how high it is. The next step is we got to find that curve. I'll show you how to do that. Come on. Now, we got to get that wheel well shape. Here's what I do. You can use a scribe. Let me turn this so I can see what I'm doing with you guys. You could use a scribe, okay? And in that case, what you would do, now I just brought the cutoff in. The cutoff that just came out of this hole, that's what this is. Now, what you could do if you want to, you'd have to get this started with a little cut, and then you could just scribe it, just like that. I prefer to use, when you use a hole saw, inch, 2 inch, 2.5 inch, there's different size negatives that you'll take out of the hole saw. I like to use these. I think they have a purpose, and to be honest with you, it's fun. So you get this piece in position, basically touching in the middle, and have it equidistant on either end, where you see just as much of the white, top and bottom. And then what you do is you just trace, you run the wheel along the wheel well. Now you've got that arc to cut away. And you'll do that 2 or 3 times, and you'll get closer. The arc gets bigger and bigger. You know when to stop, when you don't see any more white. When this cardboard meets this one, and this cardboard meets that one down there, you know you can now tape this in place. I'm going to speed this process up for you. This is cut number 2. So you see we're getting closer and closer. The top is almost perfect. All right, I got this piece taped in where I want it, okay? It's gonna fit right above the floor, like that. And I put some tape on this piece. I cut my corners off so it's a little more manageable. And now I fit this baby right in where it belongs, and I tape it in place. Now, you could now transfer this to your plywood and make your cut in your plywood. Or transfer it one more time to a fresh, clean sheet of cardboard. And now you know you've refined it one more step of the way. Now, what do you think I'm gonna do? We're over in the Sprinter now. And I want to show you something that occurs in a Sprinter, but it didn't occur in the ProMaster. Here is my wall template for the Sprinter. So I guess now you have your answer as to whether or not I'm going to transfer that last taped up, or am I going to put that on one more final clean cardboard template sheet to make sure it fits so nice. That's what I did. So they fit very nice. They're both ready to be transferred to the plywood tomorrow morning. But here's what I wanted to show you that occurs in a Sprinter. In a Sprinter van, the rear wall is not perpendicular to your floor. See, I'm touching the corner back here, down here, but I'm already off almost 1/2 inch. So this thing bows this way, okay? So now what do? Now what do? Here's what you do. If you're to measure from here to there, okay, how are you now going to get the measurement from here to there? You don't work out of this corner. You work off that side, because that side you know is going to be perpendicular to the floor right here. So you take your square and you put it right up here in the corner and you touch the wheel well. Now this outer edge, can you see me? Okay, this outer edge now that's your line, okay? That's your perpendicular square line off the floor. Now you can come up here and measure the distance, 35 1/4. Down here, it's 34 3/8, okay? So you're gonna work backwards. Here's the overall piece. I cut out my fender well, and I did a rough cut on this corner piece. Now, when I put this in place where it belongs, look, now I'm butted up tight here, and I have the gap down there. We expected that, but it fits nice and tight at the top of the wheel well and into the corner. Now you come back in, once you've approved these measurements and fitment, you're happy with that fitment, you want to get some tape. Now you come back in here and you get yourself a strip that you know is going to fit from here to the floor. Now you come back here and you push this into the corner, and down there you push it into the corner and you tape it in place. Okay, now you've made your transition. Now, when you transfer this whole piece, and again, I tucked in my rough cut. Let me see if I can get this out for you. See, I made a rough cut knowing I could get this template in behind here. Once I got it behind there, I was able to trace it with a Sharpie. So now we bring this out to the full sheet of cardboard. I've got my end angle. I can cut this to shape. And, the other thing I did, if you could see it here, you know how these sprinter doors close? This thing comes around and goes into a hole. It's a crazy thing. So you have to allow for that and make that work. So I started that here by marking it off. And then I put all of that information on a fresh, clean sheet. And when you put it in place, it fits like a glove. Look at that, nice and, it's perfect. It's right into the corner. It's right along my bed rail, and it hugs my fender and floor. And then I made my cutout. Now this is a raw cutout. I tested it to fit, open and close the door. That arm goes in. It doesn't make any problems. Now I'm going to decide what to do with that. I want to put some type of a grommet around this. When I got my finished wall in place, I want some kind of a finished grommet. I just don't want to see it cut out there. So, like I said, these two guys are ready for transfer to the plywood, which I'll do tomorrow morning, and you'll see it